according to sources that are cited by Israeli media. So the back and forth happening this morning as we zoom out on what's happening in the world as tensions rise in the Middle East. Obviously, we've been talking all week about the pager situation with what has been credited to Israeli forces as they planted, reportedly, these small explosives in these pagers that were worn by these Hezbollah terrorist groups, and then simultaneously were setting them off. And then the next day again, they went off. We had more deaths, more casualties, as this was psychological warfare as much as it was a physical situation. To let these terrorists know, according to sources, we can find you anywhere. And that is getting into the psyche of a terrorist. So you think about what's happening in the Middle East, how it translates to us. And we remember those meetings. Remember when Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, came to this country. And I'm going to be blunt. The president of the United States, and especially the vice president of the United States, blew him off. Remember? Let us not forget that and what's happening in this region as we approach the commemoration of that terrorist act that claimed innocent civilian, unarmed civilian lives, October 7th. And let's think about and it was chilling to me at the time, what Prime Minister Netanyahu had said at the time, that this conflict over there, it affects us over here. So let's put all this in perspective now and zoom in and think about what happened last night in Washington, D.C., and President Donald J. Trump addressing a group here, even at one point bringing on stage during quite an emotional moment, a young man who was a hostage, taken hostage October 7th, but thank God he survived. He's okay. They rescued him. It was an emotional meeting and evening as he is rallying for the support of American Jewish voters. And that really brings us to our friend Jeff Bartos, who's a Republican strategist, former U.S. Senate and Lieutenant Governor candidate here in Pennsylvania. And Jeff Bartos is leading Jewish Voices for Trump as he campaigns for former President Donald J. Trump. Joining us live, Jeff Bartos, good morning.
Good morning, Don. Beautifully said. Thank you for your leadership and your moral clarity. You said it beautifully, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to discuss some of these issues. It was an incredible night last night in D.C.
Thank you for that. And we've prepared some clips, so we'll hear from former President Donald J. Trump. But first of all, and I saw your op-ed, A Tale of Two Visions, Trump, Harris, and the Future of U.S.-Israel Relations. And Jeff, I just want to point out here that this is really, to me personally, this is not just a quote-unquote Jewish issue for anybody who says, oh, well, this is a narrow issue. Can you explain why it's an American,
Sure.
This is an American issue?
Well, you made reference to some of the remarkable work that Israel's been doing just over the last couple of months. And one thing in particular, in late July, Israel took out the chief of staff, really, of Hezbollah, Fuad Shukr, right in the heart of Dahia, which is the Hezbollah stronghold in Beirut. There was a $5 million bounty on Shukr's head from the United States for his involvement back to the bombing that you referenced that killed so many of our Marines in Lebanon back in 1982, 1983. So the United States had Shukr on the list for, 42 years? And Israel took him out. It is not hyperbole to say that Israel's on the front lines fighting the battle to save Western values, Judeo-Christian values that underpin the entire American experiment. They're on the front lines. They're the tip of the spear. I was with Congressman Mike Waltz last night, who your listeners see on TV all the time, Green Beret, remarkable warrior and congressman. And we were just kicking around this idea that, we have so many brave women and men in uniform here in the United States who are ready to defend our values. But we have more or less subcontracted that battle right now to the Israelis, who are every day fighting terrorism in a way that this little nation of 9 million people, the size of New Jersey, is really the only nation right now globally fighting this battle against terrorism. So They're fighting the battle so that these jihadists, these terrorists, don't come to our shores and wreak what was seen the atrocities of October 7th.
And I just want to take a listen here. This is President Trump. It's clip 4, President Trump, as he vows to defend Jewish students. And that was something that he had brought the young man on stage. I know you were there, Jeff, but let's listen in clip 4 as we hear President Trump and his vow, his promise to defend and protect especially Jewish students.
And here's what I will do to defeat anti-Semitism and defend our Jewish citizens in America. My first week back in the Oval Office, my administration will inform every college president that if you do not end anti-Semitic propaganda, they will lose their accreditation and federal taxpayer. Simple. Truth is, you don't have to do much after that. When you do that, it's going to work miracles. Please sit down. We will not subsidize the creation of terrorist sympathizers, and we're not going to do it certainly on American soil. We're not going to do it anywhere. Next, I will inform every educational institution in our land that if they permit violence, harassment, or threats against Jewish students, the schools will be held accountable for violations of the civil rights law. Jewish Americans must have equal protection under the law. They're going to get it. At the same time, my administration will move swiftly to restore safety for Jewish students and Jewish people on American streets.
And so your reaction, Jeff Partos, and what is your sense of how this promise, and many promises actually, by former President Trump, and then given his past track record, how much does this resonate with, let's say, here with Pennsylvania voters?
So the words are not just words. That's the best part about President Trump, right? The words are action, right? He makes promises and he keeps those promises. I think it's important just to frame this question that you asked. Kamala Harris has been the sitting vice president for 3 3/4 years. It's almost a year since October 7th. She has not met with one Jewish student, not one Jewish student in 11 months who has been subject to the harassment, violence, and just hatred on our college campuses. She has not taken the time to meet with one student. Contrast that with last night, with this very small briefing we had with President Trump before his remarks to IAC. Half the room, and this was a small room, half the room were invited students, many from Pennsylvania. They made a point, Miriam Adelson, Dr. Adelson made a point of pointing out there are all these students here from Pennsylvania who were invited down. President Trump has met repeatedly with students. J.D. Vance has met repeatedly with students. Dave McCormick has met repeatedly with students over the last 11 months to hear their stories. So the contrast couldn't be any clearer. Why does this matter? You made the point, and I think it's so important. It's not a Jewish issue. This is an American issue. Anti-Semitism is rot. It's moral rot. It's a rot in society. The rot exists on our campuses, but that rot is indoctrination from professors who have tenure, and they are infecting our students, K through 12 and higher education, if you can even call it higher education anymore. They're infecting them with an anti-American ideology and agenda. It's an anti-America, anti-Israel, anti-Western civilization in that order. And so that's why it's so important for all Pennsylvanians. And I think this is a critical point. My friend Dan Senor made this point a couple of weeks ago when we had Dave McCormick here for an event. He said, we need Republican control of the Senate, if for no other reason, that the only reason we know about the moral rot in higher education is because Virginia Fox from North Carolina had the gavel in the House Education Committee, and Elise Stefanik had the opportunity to take apart those college presidents and expose for the whole world the most viewed congressional hearing in history. We had the opportunity to expose that moral rot because Republicans had the gavels in the House. Dave McCormick needs to win this Senate seat. Bernie Moreno needs to win his Senate seat in Ohio so that Republicans take back control of the Senate, because, Dawn, the Senate hasn't held one hearing on this moral rot over the last year, whereas the House has had over 10. So that's why it's so critical. Here in Pennsylvania, the Jewish vote, I believe, can be very determinative. You're talking about 300,000 plus voters. The last poll I saw had it 49-42, Harris-Trump. If that holds, that's somewhere from a 15 to 20 point swing, which is somewhere from 45 to 60,000 votes, swinging from Biden-Harris to Trump-Vance. the margin of victory for President Trump in 2016 was around about 44,000 votes, and in 2020 for President Biden was about 80,000 votes. So that's the ball game, and it's everything. I wake up every day working on this. I go to sleep thinking about it, and it's how I spend 100% of my time.
And as we continue with Jeff Bartos, I want to play clip 3. This is President Trump talking about over the past 12 months and the policy of his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris. It's clip 3. Let's listen in to President Trump speaking about the policy of his opponent.
Over the past 12 months, Kamala Harris has repeatedly demanded an immediate ceasefire to save Hamas. She wants to save Hamas. Meanwhile, she and Biden deployed U.S. military to build a $230 million pier to resupply Hamas. The pier didn't work out too well. Every time there was a little rough weather, the thing got ripped apart. Those of you in the real estate business know what I'm going to say. Those contractors made a hell of a lot of money. $230 million every time there's a little rain. It blew apart. Wonderful job. This was not General Patton's bridge. General Patton knew how to build them. He built them fast and cheap. Kamala Harris has even suggested that she would consider imposing a full arms embargo against Israel, and what she wants to do. One thing about politicians, like she wants to defund the police, she wants to do all these things, no fracking, now she wants fracking, no fracking. For 20 years, there will be no fracking. And then she's a chameleon. He said, that's true.
So just, as I listen to his entire speech, and we just have some clips here, Jeff Bartos, but this morning's headlines, and here locally, I was listening and watching and monitoring all the local headlines, and they're putting together the fact that, yes, Trump was speaking before this group in D.C., but they pair that up with the headline. In other words, they're conflating two stories and tying together, and I'll give you one headline, the North Carolina black Nazi who could cost Trump the presidency. And so they're putting together the wonderful event to really empower, embolden, and speak to the Jewish community and that sort of thing. But they're putting the headline, combining that with, I'll give you another headline, and it is Rolling Stone, but I'll give you this one. Trump's pick for NC governor called himself a black Nazi, and ... What's your reaction to? And I know I'm asking you a bunch of questions in one. But essentially, you heard what Trump just said. Okay, you were there, you witnessed it. But the media narrative, and this is what you're up against, right? Is this that, man, you wake up this morning and you're slapped in the face with these types of headlines.
Yeah, and I'll add one. My father-in-law, who I love and talk to many times a day for the last 30 years, he sent me the New York Times article about the very event that I sat at last night. He sent me the New York Times, which was as if I wasn't even at that event. They reported it. So, Dawn, I was thinking about this ahead of our talk today, that it's very rare in life you get to be at an event and then read the article about it within 12 hours. And so this is one of those rare moments where I can say what your listeners and you already know, which is that the media is lying to us. I mean, it's not even like shading the truth or trying to kind of construct a narrative. They're just lying at this point. They're so desperate to keep President Trump and Senator Vance and the great Trump team that was the most effective president in U.S. history for the U.S.-Israel relationship and for Western civilization, our economy, all the things that President Trump achieved that I care deeply about, you care deeply about. The New York Times just is lying. And so if you read the New York Times article this morning or these other headlines, Rolling Stone that you're referencing, they are lying about the very events that we saw we saw with our ears and listened to. Saw with our eyes and listened to with our ears. And it's all you have to say. And look, it's my job, it's your job, it's all of our jobs who care about Western civilization, about America. We have to get out there and proudly fight back and just say, no, here's what I saw, and you're being lied to. And that's why I think it's so important for people to put on the bumper stickers, put the signs out, make sure you're registered to vote, drag your friends to vote. Yeah.
Just if anybody missed that, and that was the next one. I didn't read the New York Times headline, which is, quote, North Carolina governor race jolted by report that GOP nominee called himself a black Nazi. And then further down they're quoting this CNN 82-second video they released, or, they're it's a CNN report. That's the source that the New York Times is using. And so if somebody just saw that headline and even the first they glanced at they're saying report as if it's an official report. It's CNN. And you know what I mean? And so that's, to me, that's what I take issue with. To me, that's egregious that they're quoting CNN and not investigating for themselves these types of claims. Now, to their credit, down into the story, they say that Robinson says that this alleged, whatever site, porn site that they're tracking, that this is not true. It's not him. And there's no tangible evidence pointing to that. I have no idea. But I'll point out that even CNN admits down in their report that this would have been more than 10 years ago, by the way. And it was on some, pervy site. So to your point, I mean, then people start debating the porn site, and it's a big distraction. But nowhere do we see, in other words, the policy from the Vice President of the United States. And so they distract. That's the whole game, right?
Yeah, look at her interview last night with, if you can call even an interview with Oprah. It wasn't an interview, right? It was a fawning session. But if Oprah, who's a skilled interviewer, right? Like she's made billions of dollars being a skilled interviewer, she didn't ask a single follow-up question on that live stream. Every single answer, if you could even call them answers from Vice President Harris, they're kind of word salads and non-connected thoughts. But Oprah Winfrey at any time could have asked the Vice President as a follow-up, okay, given what you just said, what have you been doing for the last 3 3/4 years? Like, I'm confused. You keep talking about all these issues. You've been the Vice President for 3 3/4 years. I mean, if you watch the live stream, and I don't recommend it, to paraphrase one of my favorite movies, Billy Madison, each of us is dumber every time we listen to an answer from Kamala Harris. We get a little bit dumber. And so I don't recommend listening to it because it hurts your ears and it'll hurt your brain. It's like having 5 drinks. Probably they'll do a study it's the equivalent of drinking 5 drinks in terms of killing brain cells. Listening to her answer, but there's no policies. There's no follow up. The media treats her with fawning love, and this is what we're up against. But Don, we're going to win. I mean, President Trump is going to win Pennsylvania. He's going to win the presidency. Dave McCormick is going to win. Stacey Garrity is going to win. Dave Sunday, Tim DeFore, these congressional races that are highly contested. We're going to win here in the Commonwealth because the people are smart, and they're tired of being lied to, and they know. When I ran in 2022, I was too polite. I acknowledge that now. I was too polite. I tried to make nice with the media. I tried to answer their questions. I've learned since then, especially since October 7th, just how corrupt the legacy media is in lying to us, and it is what it is. We just have to fight.
So do you agree with what and I think he reiterated this at one of the rallies, and I believe it was at the DC one as well, that he regrets that he has used the word, what was the word, eloquent? He has said a couple of times recently he wishes he had called out David Muir and the ABC moderators, but he was trying to hold back. And now he regrets that. Do you agree with that he should have gone after their bias?
You know, it's interesting. You only have 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And I've been in one general election debate. I had that with now Senator Fetterman, but at the time, Mayor Fetterman, when we were running for lieutenant governor. It was a general election. It was just the two of us on stage. And knowing that you only have 60 or 90 seconds, you really want to get your message across. President Trump's a pro. He's way better at this than I'll ever be. So I think, I trust his instincts, of course.
Yeah.
But I think on the stage in that moment, with 90 seconds to answer, you want to get your points across. And, for President Trump, the number one point that he continues to make and that we all make on his behalf is to voters, are you better off today than you were under the Trump administration? And the answer unequivocally, 60 to 75% of our fellow Pennsylvanians and fellow Americans say no. Under Harris-Biden versus Trump, we were much better off under Trump. We are not better off today than we were under President Trump. On the economy, inflation, the border, crime here in Pennsylvania, energy jobs and energy issues, veterans issues with our almost 700,000 veterans. For me personally, Dawn, coming back to it, as someone who loves Israel, is passionately invested in the U.S.-Israel relationship and understands Israel's role in protecting and defending Western civilization, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And, it's not even a contest. We were all much better off under the proven effective leadership of President Trump.
What's your reaction to this in the headlines this morning that law enforcement informed the Biden campaign about hacked Trump materials? And this is from officials. This is not something that's on some, right-wing website. This is official word that we have.
Right, by Iran. So the Iranians are rooting for Kamala Harris. Okay, we know why, right? She wants to give them billions more and let them build a nuclear weapon. And Kamala Harris and her team believe that if you make Iran rich, they'll get soft and they'll want to play nicely with everybody else, which is, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is the very definition of insanity. And so the Harris foreign policy is insane. But here, Iran is not only rooting for Kamala Harris, they took action to hack the Trump campaign and to send that information to Biden and now Harris. And nobody was telling the Trump campaign, right? I mean, the Biden and Harris didn't immediately turn it over. They didn't say anything. Law enforcement's now informing it. It's election interference. I think, Dawn, and sadly, we're not going to know this till after November 5th. I think we're going to find that Act Blue, the Democrats' donation portal, has been abused by foreign sources, and that the Democrats have been, I hate to use this word, but I think it's accurate, laundering money through that. I think we're going to find there's more foreign interference than we ever knew about. And that's why it is the most, I heard this stat the other day that President Trump said this, something like 50 million evangelicals don't vote in this country, that there's a high percentage of gun owners and hunters that don't vote. Yeah. People need to, it's still time to register, still time to have a plan. We have to vote. I could complain about the media all day, but at the end of the day, my job is really to get, 10, 20, 50, 1,000, 10,000 more people to vote for President Trump and Dave McCormick and Stacey Garrity and our whole team. That's our only answer to this madness, is to vote.
What's next for you? As far as where you headed next, I hope you get some rest, get to come home and just rest. But what's your next big event?
Well, we have Senator Vance in town next Saturday. He'll be in Bucks County. Well, actually, let me correct that. I believe he'll be in Berks County tomorrow. Okay. So Senator Vance will be in Berks County tomorrow, and then a week from tomorrow. So the 21st, he'll be in Berks County. On the 28th, he'll be in Bucks County for a rally. So that's super exciting. He's coming back at this point almost every week, which is incredible. President Trump, I know, will be here a couple of times. I can't say exactly when yet because it's not public yet, but President Trump has a number of, we're working on, the team's working on scheduling him here a couple more times just in the next 10 days or 2 weeks. So for all of your listeners who want to get out and see President Trump, see Senator Vance, see Dave McCormick, see Stacey, our whole team, there's lots and lots of places. You can follow me on X. I don't know if we're allowed to say our tweet, but it's Jeff_Bartos. I post as much as I can there. At PAGOP is another place. And of course, at Team Trump and at Trump War Room, are both all four good. I would say in that order, actually. Trump stuff, then GOP stuff, and, my stuff's pretty accurate too.
Jeff Bartos, you've been gracious with your time. Thank you so much. Talk soon.
Dawn, have a great weekend. Thank you for the opportunity to share this with everyone.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Godspeed. So Jeff Bartos, great guy. I know he was just on Zioli the other night, and we've gone long here, but we packed a lot of news in there, updating you internationally, nationally, locally. So we'll take a quick break. If you want to share any thoughts, I have some major updates. And then in the 11 o'clock hour, remember, we're going to talk about local schools, what's going on, the very latest. Thanks for being here today. I'm Dawn Stensland. We'll be right back.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Join us to conquer childhood cancer on Sunday, September 29th for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia's Parkway Run and Walk, presented by Citadel Credit Union. All funds raised support CHOPS Cancer Center. Learn more and register today at parkway.chop.edu.
This Saturday morning at 10, tune into a special edition of Your Radio Doctor with Dr. Marianne Ritchie and find out about alcohol use disorder, plus all the latest news and information about your health and wellness. Don't miss Your Radio Doctor Saturday morning at 10.
Someone once said it's always better to do one thing at once. I see if you can do two things at once, why wouldn't you? You're probably doing that right now anyway. Like at Hutchinson Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, if you buy one fall furnace tune-up, we'll give you an AC tune-up in spring for free. You do one, and you don't even have to think about the other. See, that's two things taken care of. So the moral is doing two things at once isn't just easier, it saves you money. Book now at hutchcomfort.com.
With NJ Diet, you can lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. They have customers that have lost 37 pounds, 100 pounds, and over 120 pounds, and they've kept it off. You'll have more energy, and you'll probably see better lab results. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to provide you personalized natural formulas and supplements so you can lose the weight, and DNA testing will help you keep it off. Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. Go to njdiet.com.
You love your city, but let's be honest, the commute, not so much. That's where the free Odyssey app can help. Download the app and follow your local news station so you can get the latest traffic reports or find if your train is on time before you walk out your door. Knowing all this gives you time to think about the essential things like, do I have time to get coffee? Download the free Odyssey app and search your local news station. That's AUDACY.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
He does a lot of parodies of different songs. To see it all come together was just awesome. And then the whole family and his daughter. Yeah, the Carson Wentz hate definitely resonated.
And I love the Frank Sinatra guy, and I thought the drummer was fabulous. Go Joe, go Birds. It was awesome.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Just 2 years ago, Bob Casey told us his vote for $1 trillion spending spree would miraculously reduce inflation. Casey promised his vote
will reduce inflation.
Have you been to a grocery store lately? Did Casey reduce anything except his credibility? In fact, it was Bob Casey's vote for reckless spending that caused this inflation in the first place. Prices went up, and now you're paying more for almost everything. Casey admits he failed. Prices have skyrocketed. Just listen to Casey.
You have boneless chicken going up 38%, and paper products like toilet paper going up 35%.
Groceries cost more. Rent and housing cost more. Pennsylvania families are struggling. Casey promised to fix this mess. Instead, he made it worse. Bob Casey failed. We need a change to get back on track. It's time to change Washington. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Is your home cold and drafty, or windows and doors just won't open like they used to anymore? Brighten your home with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We offer a wide selection to fit your style and budget, ensuring energy efficiency and aesthetic appeal.
And new doors and windows enhance your home's value and comfort.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows. And save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC+. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.tv.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's Friday morning, September 20th. Dawn Stensland here. Thanks for being here. Man, I had a crazy day yesterday with my son. Football concussion. It's a sin, but you follow the protocols and all of that. So we were in urgent care one of those nights. I guess you can relate. As we update you in and we'll talk schools at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. So I've been talking to parents locally, and we'll update you on one school district in Montgomery County, their big meeting they had last night. So we'll talk about that one as well. I've been trying to update you on, and tying in the international news with what's happening with this overnight and this morning with what's going on between Israel and Hezbollah. Remember, this is a terrorist organization. They're listed as a terrorist organization, and they are tied to Iran, right? We know this. And so we continue to just wait. Where's President Joe Biden? He is still the president. Where's Vice President Kamala Harris? I have not seen, I don't have any statements from them. I don't see them speaking out, holding a news conference. I don't see a statement from the White House. So we'll watch for that and watch for those updates for sure this morning. A lot of news happening this morning on this Friday. So we'll talk about all of it and get your thoughts. 855-839-1210. Did you see that interview between Kamala Harris? It wasn't really an interview, kind of a forum is the best way to describe it, with Oprah Winfrey. Kind of looked like an Oprah Winfrey show from way back in the day. I was always a fan of hers. She looks fabulous. And what I saw was, the power of Oprah Winfrey to bring in these stars, do everything she can. And she was really teeing up, if you will, giving just softball questions and teeing up the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, to just take it. All she had to do was make a powerful statement, even just give her opinion about what was being said. But she didn't. And I would love to know what Oprah really thought, because throughout all of it, I couldn't help but think that Oprah is, she's of the two, you couldn't help but look and say, well, definitely Oprah she should be the candidate. She would be a way better candidate. She has opinions, right? She has opinions about all of this and could give them in an authentic, flawless manner. And then speaking out and saying, I'm an independent voter. And for you independent voters, she has endorsed Kamala Harris. But Kamala Harris gave her nothing back, nothing in return. That was my take. And I don't even know what good it does, except for those clips that, entities like CNN has picked it up this morning, last night, and especially focusing in on one very emotional segment, as I said earlier on Kale & Company, where you saw Oprah Winfrey interviewing a family who your heart goes out to them because their daughter and sister had died, as she lives in a state where they have some new strict rules on abortion. And what happens, she was in late stages of her pregnancy, was having difficulty, and was rushed to the emergency department. They had to wait 20 hours, the family says, and I think they've confirmed this through doctors, and their loved one died. It was horrible. There was not a dry eye in the place. It was very emotional, as you can imagine. I would just point out to you that everybody knows Trump has spoken out on this and says that in those emergency situations, of course, he has adopted a Reagan-esque policy here that if in this case they lost the baby and the mom. So I don't really understand that kind of policy. I'd have to look into it more because I think in most states, certainly here in Pennsylvania, if somebody rushes a lady to the ER and they've lost the baby, they're going to save the mom's life. So I don't know why they waited 20 hours. I really question part of it and part of that, even their interpretation of the law. But it's certainly a heart-wrenching situation, and your heart went out to that family. We'll talk more about that in the coming days for sure. Wanted to point out to you a story. And this is an update because I've done a lot of interviews with many experts, as you know, on this issue, including Andre Beliveau, among others. But our Senate here in Pennsylvania, which has a majority of Republicans, you know this. So this week, voting to repeal the regulation which allows Pennsylvania to be part of that regional regional greenhouse gas initiative. It's called RGGI, RGGI. And I've reported a lot on it. So RGGI, it requires power plants to pay for pollution, but it has not ever been enforced, to my knowledge, because of all the court challenges. So they've challenged it to the point that I think Governor Josh Shapiro pushed for a different plan. Now, House leaders are saying that this bill is DOA. It's dead on arrival. And in the House here in Pennsylvania, the Democrats have control. But Republicans, they voted to repeal the regulation. They're saying, no, we're pulling it back. And so they do have the votes for that on this controversial program. What is the program? This is years of as I've reported on this. But the bottom line here is that this is one of those, so-called programs under the Shapiro kind of renamed it. Remember, I did these interviews on this. Governor Shapiro had said that he's going to pull out a RGGI, but he then endorsed the PACER program. Essentially, many are saying these are one and the same. It's just a renamed type policy, even though the governor has pushed back on that. But what this is about is strict regulations which raise the prices. And the regulations here in Pennsylvania, this is what businesses have pointed to, that these very tough, expensive regulations are costing Pennsylvania jobs. That's at issue. This is a story that I know I get down in the weeds and you say, well, Dawn, this is kind of boring. I know it's boring stuff, but this is about jobs. And this is about the cost that you and I, if you live in Pennsylvania, you know that we're paying higher energy costs than we've ever paid. Just look at your latest Pico bill. Oh, my goodness. It's really not affordable. So it's a big story, and we want to talk about it. Another story that I want to update for you, and these are some follow-ups in a follow-up section I have for you, is this is a jury finding that Sesame Place in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, is not liable, and this is years after a mom had, put out on social media showing the images of her sweet little girls that she said were being snubbed by that Rosita character at Sesame Place. It happened in the summer of 2022, if you recall. And so, there were many people who were debating this. And from one angle, you could have argued, well, it sure looks like Rosita looked past these sweet little girls and then went over to and kind of hugged a white little girl. and looked over the African American little girls. And that's maybe so mom put this out on social media, and mom really felt this. Well, then the lawyers got involved, and Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jackson, got involved. And then others came forward, and it became this national story. So here in Pennsylvania, I would say, as far as this goes, and one of the lines from one of the attorneys said to the jury, "Big Bird, you're a racist." Well, quite frankly, Big Bird wasn't even involved. It was actually the character, if you look at the video, was Rosita. So in the case, oh my goodness, they had to get a jury. Then in the case, they had to get the people, the teenage kids who were employed, putting them on the stand. And in one case, by all accounts, here you have like some petite teenage girl, and I don't know her ethnicity, but they're saying, "Well, are you a racist?" And this, soft-spoken kid, is saying, "No, I would never do that." And so what ultimately ended up happening was that the jury is listening to the testimony of these teenage workers, teenage kids who wanted to get a summer job at Sesame Place. And this is not an easy job. You're in 80-degree heat, and you have to be, for some of the characters, you have to be petite, because as you well know, some of the characters, I'm 5'7". Some of them I'm thinking when I would take my kids, Big Bird is the biggest one, but all the other ones are maybe, 5 feet tall, 5'2". And so these are petite teenage, a lot of them girls. And so they were the ones who were testifying and cross-examined, and they looked intimidated, and they're soft-spoken. And I think at the end of the day, the jury looked at them and said, these kids are not racist. And it was real obvious that that's what was going on. And so Sesame Place, that has the bigger, SeaWorld owner, because I think they were going after the big bucks, right? The big overlord owner, the corporate owner, maybe not even Sesame Place, but the jury believed these teen workers, and so that Sesame Place wins, and it's a loss at the end of the day for the lawyers and for the mom who and her little girls and others. The other cases I think will still go on. So we'll see what happens in the other cases, because remember that the lawyers, this is a federal jury. It took up the claims of 5 African American and Hispanic families that they say that Sesame Place, and there were other locations, if I'm not mistaken, but this is the local family. So it's a loss for the local family. But the case included claims of this discrimination by children who say they felt ignored by the costumed performers during various parades at the park. So it was a unanimous vote by the jury, who answered no to the questions asked of Sesame Place, as well as its parent company, SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, were they liable. So they've released a statement as far as the corporation SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment. And this is the quote, "We are pleased with the jury's verdict and thank them for their service and for their attention. The facts presented demonstrate that we treat our guests equally. We want every guest at our park to feel welcomed and safe when they visit us, and to be able to see and feel aspects of themselves in the experiences that we create." And so that was, in part, that was the statement. It's a win for them. Overall, I'll go back to the little girls. I think it's a loss for the children, because these little girls were told, and have since been told, that they were snubbed because of the way they look. And somewhere in here, I still hope that this corporation and locally Sesame Place reaches out to that family and says, we want to give you a VIP experience. And I know that the lawyers probably tell them not to do that, but somewhere in here, I believe that it's important for those little girls, for somebody to reach out to those little girls, give them a VIP experience, because they have been told that they were snubbed. And I I just can't let that go. Maybe you disagree with me, 855-839-1210. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I just wish somebody locally would say, you know what, we want to give you a VIP package, and we want you to relive that experience and have a better experience and walk away from this with a win for these kids. Because I don't want those little girls to grow up thinking that that's true. And even to meet some of those characters. See, it's a policy that the people who play the characters can never be seen if they take off the costume or even the top of the costume, so you can see who they are. Because I can tell you from what I'm being told that they have a lot of diversity. They're black kids and white kids and Hispanic kids, and they're teenagers, and it's a really cool summer job. I just wish that we could just push away the media, push away social media, push away the lawyers, and let those, especially the sweet little girls who we saw in that video, let them experience just some of the joy and relive that experience in a good way, because they've been living kind of a nightmare, because you're a 5-year-old little kid. And when everybody tells you, and it's certainly when mommy is meeting with the lawyers, do you know what I'm saying? I have no doubt they believe in their hearts that this is true. And that to me is an injustice. So I would call to figure out a way to make that right. That's just me. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. There's no place like home. I know for me, I'll be cooking up a lot this weekend, family over, a big football weekend, even though I'm so bummed out that my David, he's not going to be playing. So he's on the mend, and we're doing all the concussion protocols, mild concussion, but he was having some headaches and couldn't concentrate, and apparently nearly passed out yesterday afternoon in practice. So it was kind of a crazy day for us. But when I think about home and I think about my kitchen, that really makes me think about, who I trust when I think about windows, doors, siding, all of that. And that really takes me to Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I think the world of Mike and Mark Chapman. You've heard me talk about them. They've done beautiful work in my home. If I needed, by now, if I needed windows, doors, siding, any of that, I would only trust the Chapman family team. So, hey, if you're thinking of updating your front entry door, then right now is the perfect time. For the month of September, Chapman is offering free hardware on a brand new front entry door up to the value of $500. Think about what a new front door would do as far as the new look, and updating your home. It's an instant makeover. It's an instant refresh. Certainly adds to the curb appeal of your home, increases the resale value. So if you're looking for a single door, double, maybe the door with the side lights like I have, Chapman has such an experienced team of project consultants. They're going to help you choose that perfect new front door. So just give them a call. You can text them. They're listening right now. They're like-minded. 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
I don't know if you guys agree with this, but if I'm Trump, I'm no longer taking phone calls from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. My iPhone rings. You see the little accept or decline button? Decline. I did the photo op with you on 9/11 after the stage debate on ABC. Kamala will be right back on the wagon today, I'm sure, and you're going to hear the same old rhetoric. Not about her opportunity economy and the specifics of what that entails, but just the general entry-level stupid verbiage.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It was funny and great band. His imitation of the Bee Gees.
The stylistics and stuff, I just love that.
Oh, it was great. This is the third time we've seen him. He's awesome.
I can relate to Joe Conklin. Great variety. There was something for everyone.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
ChicagoDental.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently, they had a permanent tooth put in. And you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high. It's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
The following is a paid commercial message. I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. It's time to call an audible. These high utility bills are getting out of hand. Make your home cozy with new windows.
Right now at Window Nation, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit on how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. Call Window Nation today to schedule your fast, free in-home estimate or visit windownation.com.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So I keep getting updates on the situation with, there were all of these stories that former President Donald J. Trump was coming here to Pennsylvania. Did you hear this on Sunday? So Jeff Partos, I was trying to nail him down to be able, to hopefully break some news and make some kind of an announcement of when. When would Trump be coming here to Pennsylvania? So one of the articles, and I know the Philadelphia Inquirer had the story this morning. One of the headlines is former President Trump cancels his planned visit to the Polish Catholic shrine in Bucks County. And so there was word that he would come for Mass on Sunday morning. But the word from the campaign, they have announced that he would come. But then the word was that because of that second assassination attempt, that there's a security concern. So I'm not hearing that he will be here Sunday. So we'll try to nail that down. But he's no longer, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer, as well as 2 of my sources, who are saying that it is confirmed he canceled his planned visit to this particular shrine and to go to Mass in Bucks County. If I hear anything, I promise you, we do have J.D. Vance here tomorrow and then next week as well, Berks and Bucks County. But if Trump is coming, you're going to hear about it. Trust me, as we wind these days down. I mean, less less than 50 days. Can you believe it? So other headlines, let me just give you headlines because I love to do this. Here are the headlines as I look at the digital version of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Kamala Harris performing better than Joe Biden with Philly voters, but there could be red flags. So even the Inquirer keeps, printing these stories, and I told you about yesterday's headlines that this is not a lock here in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is too close to call. And we've been telling you about North Carolina, and that is a concern because we've said on the road to the White House, 270 to win. So let's just say Trump got Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia. If you think about the map, those three, boom, golden ticket. That's it. It's done. So the problem here is that North Carolina, remember, that was leaning. It was kind of on the maps, pinkish, according to even Cook, all the reports, and I look at all this stuff. But it really now is considered either a gray area or leaning blue. That's North Carolina right now. And so North Carolina being in play this much is not good for the Trump camp. So that makes Pennsylvania all the more important, right? And then there's another headline that says, I'm just looking at the Inquirer, Pennsylvanians rallied outside the National Constitution Center after Trump spread false claims about Haitian immigrants there last week. So please inform me, Trump spread false claims about Haitian immigrants there last week. That headline struck me as a little odd, and I just want to call it out. I know maybe this is too in the weeds, but I'm going to do it, okay? What they're saying is that, if you read that initially, and you looked at that headlines, you would think he's saying that Trump called out something about Haitian immigrants here in Pennsylvania. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that because the debate was hosted at the National Constitution Center, and they made that statement, remember, about the immigration situation, and he gave credit to media reports in Springfield, Ohio. And he did do that. Maybe you disagree with it, but even David Muir tried to say that's not true. And then Trump said there are television reports that are reporting this allegation. And then David Muir shot back, well, they're not true, blah, 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 blah. And they were fact-checking. The truth is, Trump was quoting media reports. That's fair. I mean, earlier today, I quoted, during the Jeff Bartos interview, I quoted the New York Times, which is citing its source in a story about the North Carolina lieutenant governor, the African-American gentleman who allegedly, according to CNN, called himself a black Nazi like a decade or so ago on some porno site. I mean, okay, I'm just going to tell you this. If I had that story about the lieutenant governor and somebody said, hey, 10 years ago, this dude said, da, 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 I would have great hesitation to report something like that, particularly right before an election. I would have to have multiple sources. I would have to have tangible evidence and, I don't know, different codes, some kind of tangible evidence. Jimmy Kelly, I think we got to go. Is that it? Yes, we got to go. In any event, I'm just saying media reports on media all the time, but they're calling out Trump on that. That's my point. All right, we got a great segment for you. Really quick break. We'll shorten it up. Great guest right around the corner. Be right back.
Crash Proof Retirement records all financial meetings. All promises made in recorded financial meetings become legally binding between Crash Proof Retirement and the investing client. Crash Proof Retirement provides all of their clients with a certificate of authenticity, further documenting that recording financial meetings brings fiduciary responsibility to the highest level.
Jack Gunning from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. I don't know whether anybody can offer you the security that Crash Proof Retirement does. I have this certificate that tells me they're a fiduciary. Everything is recorded and they have your best interest at heart. That certificate is 100% documentation that you know what they're saying is 100% correct. Other companies don't have this guarantee. This certificate means an awful lot for me, and it should mean an awful lot for you.
Certify your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees, but in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It's back to school. Last night was actually after the urgent care with my son. Then it was back to school night at his high school. It's a busy time when parents are thinking about, meeting the teachers and their kids' school schedules, school sports, all of that. But for one school district that has been embattled and in the headlines, even made national headlines, you may recall, there's a different focus going on with concerned parents. And I will say this is a school district in the Lansdale area. I have family in this school district as well in Montgomery County. But this is a school district that is known in our area and in Pennsylvania for being a top performing school district. Excellent. As a matter of fact, I have a relative with a child who was born premature, who's a March of Dimes baby, who, Jamie, who I've talked a lot about, and you've heard me report on him, and the school district really serving the needs of just a diverse group of kids. They do a beautiful job, and that's why part of the reason they are top rated when you look at people who move to this area in Montgomery County, because these schools and this district is known as such a high quality, highly rated public school district in the Lansdale, Pennsylvania, Montgomery County area. And that really brings us to, and this is just to give you the North Penn School District area. You may recall at the end of the school year last year, we had heard about that horrible story of one, problem student who was facing criminal charges after just approaching in the cafeteria a little girl, striking her with one of those big silver Stanley cups, striking her in the head, and this went to court, and it was a really horrible situation in one of the middle schools there. But this is a different issue, and let's look in and zoom in at last night's meeting, North Penn School District, and that brings us to our local mom, Shannon, who was there with her husband. Shannon, good morning. I didn't know if you wanted me to say your last name or not, but I know you were there at the School Safety Forum. Can you give us good morning?
Good morning, Dawn. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And just if you can update us on last night's meeting and what happened.
Yes, and thank you for talking about us being a top-performing school district. My parents went to North Penn. I'm a North Penn grad. My son already graduated, and I still have 2 daughters in the district, which is why we are so concerned about keeping it a top-performing school district and getting it back up to that level. So the Title IX went into effect through the Fed in August 1st, and since then, 26 states have blocked it, with some individual schools being exempt from the implementation of this new policy that allows for gender identity and gender expression to be protected by the non-discriminatory policy. So last night, North Penn School Board had an action meeting about this policy. Currently, 3 of the North Penn schools within the district are named on the policy that are exempt, which is A.M. Culp, Penfield Middle School, and North Penn High School. Pennsylvania State also says they're updating their policy to reflect the new changes. But first, when you're talking about it being a busy night and busy back to school, I did just want to say that this happened August 1st, that the federal government added this policy. And then North Penn had this meeting last night. I did call and ask them to postpone this topic because I think it is a serious topic that parents need to understand. And they had their first board meeting August 15th, and this was never mentioned at all. There was a 20-minute policy meeting on August 26th, which is a Monday. Kids had orientation Tuesday the 27th, and the first day back to school was August 28th. So there was so much communication going on with going back to school, and they fit in that 20-minute policy meeting where they mentioned this. And then last night was back to school at the high school, which is over 3,000 students' parents who were attending and could not make the meeting. And really, this was not presented well to the public that this is going to be on the agenda.
Right.
I'm part of an organization that we do follow, North Penn United, that we do follow all the stuff in the news, and we even missed some of this because of all the hustle and bustle with back to school. So the new policy, the way it's currently written for North Penn, is that it does allow males into girls' locker rooms and into girls' bathrooms. The wording on the PA site and the federal site does say gender identity and gender expression. I mean, there's no answers here to me. There's just more problems by allowing this.
Right.
And everybody, I think, at the school needs to put it on pause because we're not solving any of the problems with the students that are identifying or expressing as a different gender. The problem is they are being bullied and uncomfortable, maybe in their own bathrooms, but allowing them into other bathrooms and locker rooms, I don't think that's going to fix the problem, and it's not the answer. It's only going to make it worse unless we sit down and come up with a solution that works well for all. However, it does allow grown adult males into bathrooms.
Yes.
They could walk right into a girl behind a bathroom at a school event, open to the public, and we're just supposed to turn a blind eye and not discriminate against that. To me, it's a violation of women's rights. And the new Title IX, the way it's currently written, the wording also has North Penn states in their policy, athletics. From our understanding in our group at North Penn United is that the PIAA did not rule anything on athletics yet. So what I'm doing now is urging people to take right to the board, or if they don't feel comfortable, I had about 60 people reach out to me over the past few days and like, when did this happen? I didn't know about it. Like, I can't speak at the meeting. I might lose my job. I don't want to speak. My kid won't let me. They can write an anonymous letter to the board, send it in, postal mail, and write a letter. The biggest thing that I think we have to do is to remove athletics initially from this policy. If they plan on voting on this policy at the next meeting in October, I at least want them to remove athletics.
Yeah.
Until
you can resolve it.
Until we can resolve it and come up with a plan and, you know, make it good for all students. The PA schools that are exempt, there are 3 organizations that were added to the federal injunction. The 3 organizations are Young Americans Foundation, a Moms for Liberty organization, and a Female Athletes United. If you become a member of any of those, you can have your child's school listed on that list, and then they will be exempt from this policy change. So I'm not a member of any of those organizations yet, and my child's school is already listed, but I also am going to ask other parents to, you know, step up and get their schools added to the list, and hopefully we can have all North Penn schools added to this exempt list. I think that we need to put the brakes on it for a minute, and it just came into a policy. No other schools around our area so far have added this to any of their agendas, and I think we are trying to take action way too quick on this policy.
Yeah, and, you know, I just want to make something clear because, like, in my kids' little grade school, it was K through 8th, which was a little Christian Catholic school. There was a policy that there were children's bathrooms and no adult was allowed to go into those. It was kind of a big deal, if you were an adult, especially a parent volunteer. So I have a couple of questions for this, just to clarify it, because what you're saying is that at an event, an adult male in certain circumstances could go into a girl's bathroom.
Correct. So there are faculty bathrooms,
right.
But if you walk into a sporting event for a football game, a basketball game,
right.
I mean, I guess my concern is, like, if there is a young female walking into the bathroom and now we're allowing everyone to use the bathroom, some outsider who's not part of the school or involved in the school, maybe not another student, can walk in right behind this female into the bathroom. I think we have to spend more time on what is right and what is wrong for all people involved, including women and girls and, people that do identify as a different gender or express as a different gender. We need to at least figure out the problem, figure out a better solution than just to quickly write it in a policy so nobody speaks about it. I really think it was being done too quick, and the way it was planned out with right back to school was the first policy meeting. It was the day before back to school. We're having a policy meeting. No parents are looking at that. It was a 20-minute virtual policy meeting.
Right.
I watched it 2 weeks after when school already started. And then it was the biggest back-to-school night. We have 3,000 high school students.
Yep.
So 3,000 parents were invited to back-to-school night, which is something you really don't want to miss. So people couldn't even attend the meeting. They can watch it after the fact now on the YouTube channel. And if anybody that gets involved, if I'm allowed to say this, but North Penn United is on Facebook. We try to post information as soon as we have it or as soon as somebody alerts us to it. Facebook is our best way to see the updated information. We do have a website that we only update during usually like campaign election cycles. We have over 9 executive members that work on this stuff, and we have over 60 plus paid members that pay annually to be a member on our newsletters and emails to raise money for school board elections. So, there is a school board election next year. 4 of these candidates are up for re-election. This kind of stuff has to stop. I do think that at least one of the school board members should at least take the athletics out of the policy at a minimum, because we know they're all going to vote unanimously to pass it at the next meeting. But at a minimum, they should at least relook at it and take the athletics out and come up with some other solutions, is what I'm asking them to do.
And so the important piece of this, as I understand it, and this was something that Biden had signed into an executive order, and then at the end of the day, Biden, Harris's U.S. Department of Education, issued these new regulations. That was, something that we've talked a lot about. They issued them in April, went into effect on August 1st, and they made it clear Title IX, quote, prohibits discrimination and harassment based on sexual orientation, gender identity, sex characteristics. And so right now we have all of this, this issue is in federal court, but there's no nationwide injunction, right? So the states who are, who have attorneys general who have come out and said, no, we're going to put this on hold, they're exempted because of that. But what you're saying is there's a little loophole here, right? That if you go on and you join a certain organization, a different organization that's involved in these lawsuits, then your school could be exempt or your child could be exempt.
The school that your child attends can be exempt. So there's 26 states that have already blocked it, and it's exempt. Shapiro, I saw news articles that he wanted to be one of the first states to adopt it. I do think that there are some board members on our board that are out for political gain, and of course they're going to try to quickly adopt this because that's what Shapiro wants in our area in Pennsylvania. I do think we have to take a second look at this. I don't think it should be done that quickly, and I am urging people to find these organizations. Your child has to attend these schools. My child's school is already on them. The 3 organizations are Young Americans Foundation, Moms for Liberty, and Female Athletes United. And I believe that all of these organizations have a way for you to become a member and then list your child's school. If we can do this quickly before the vote, then those schools would be exempt, because they did already announce at last night's meeting that the 3 schools in North Penn that are currently exempt are A.M. Culp Elementary, North Penn High School, and Penfield Middle School. I don't know off the top of my head how many schools we have. We have 2 other middle schools and plenty of elementary schools. But I have the list in front of me of all the schools that are exempt. And Upper Perk Yeoman School District has a lot of schools in their district exempt. So does Wissahickon. I'm just trying to find other schools like in our area.
Yeah.
So it is working if you get on the list. Yep.
You know, what's the, I mean, you were there, you were at the meeting. What's the reaction as far as parents looking at this? And, you know, you're at the meeting, you're taking this in last night with your husband. So what's the takeaway here? I
mean, I honestly don't think a lot of people had time to digest this yet and know this was coming down the pipe to be voted on this quickly. And I do think a lot of people, I mean, they didn't know that they were going to allow people identifying as a female to be in sports, which I think is a PIAA thing. Our policy does have the word athletics in it. I do think there's a lot of parents that want to speak up, don't know how to speak up. I do think there's a lot of parents that want them to stop and delay and put the brakes on this for now, because there needs to be a different solution. I don't know what that solution is right now, but the board members need to be able to listen to the parents and to the community. That has not been being done. Especially on this policy, I do think it was rushed through. Now, there was an announcement yesterday at the meeting about the Stanley Cup incident that was under investigation. The investigation is complete, but they don't know the outcome of the investigation. But the superintendent is going to let the board know the outcome. But maybe we should wait till the outcome of that investigation and see what happened there before we just go and quickly adopt a new policy, especially when it's currently in litigation. It's currently in litigation. 3 of our schools are already on the list. Isn't it discrimination that if your kids go to this school, they're exempt, but if your kids go to this school within the district, they're not exempt? Right. It gets confusing. Yes. And since Trump has said he'll change it back, if so you have a big election coming on. So why, to me, I think you're right. Just hold it off. Hold it off even till January 1st, and just work out a good policy. Shannon, so many people I've received so many different comments from individuals, and even privately, people have contacted me. On one hand saying, look, anytime that you as a parent speak out on this because you want to protect, especially a daughter, and especially at the middle school level, that you really don't want a guy, this whole issue of coming in and they're in a locker room and it's awkward and the whole thing. But parents are afraid to speak out because they think, somebody's going to brand me as, I'm anti ... I'm somebody who's an ist, fill in the blank. And that's not what this is. These are loving, concerned parents who are saying, isn't there a way? We're not trying to, be against somebody. We're for our daughters. And how, what's your reaction to that? I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And I'm speaking up for many mothers who have reached out to me that you're right, that don't want to put their name out there. I mean, I've already been called names on social media from 2 of the school board members. I did mention that last night because simultaneously with this policy, they also have the cyberbullying policy that they were looking at. And right on their policy, it says that the board is committed to providing a safe, positive learning environment for the students and staff in the district. And the board recognizes that bullying creates an atmosphere of fear and intimidation and distracts from learning environment. Well, I got up yesterday and spoke, and I said, right in the beginning, there was a mother that spoke before about her child who is currently transitioning to a different gender, and said, you're going to hear a lot of nonsense tonight. I mean, me speaking up for my children, I didn't think it was nonsense. And one of the school board members, Jonathan Casa, shook his head in agreement right there in front of the audience. Right. So when I got up and spoke, I said, you're passing a bullying policy right now tonight. We're not passing it, but it's the first read, I think, on this as well, that says about creating an atmosphere free from fear and intimidation. Right. By you nodding your head saying that I'm going to come up and speak nonsense, and by you going on your social media calling people red-capped dunces, I mean, is that bullying? Right. And you're going to ask our students to abide by this policy of anti-bullying? I believe that some of the school board members either need to go or they need to lead by example if they want the students in their district to take them seriously on their bullying policy.
Have there been any instances where there was bullying or somebody went into a bathroom where a girl felt intimidated that you know of?
Yes. I mean, I don't want to speak too much about certain particular instances.
I know. Yeah. I don't want to identify anybody because
but
I'm aware.
North Penn did already state that last night at the meeting. Our solicitor stated that he doesn't see much of a change that will take place in our schools after adopting this policy because they already are allowing it and working with individual families. I do know that at our middle school, there was somebody already in the locker rooms that was a biological male and in the locker rooms. And I know that they were making accommodations. If your daughter did not feel comfortable, then your daughter can go over here and change over here. There's already a lot that goes on in our bathrooms. They sometimes have locked down the 7th grade bathrooms. My husband even mentioned that there's, illegal activity and people meeting up and doing things that are already intimidating people from going into the bathrooms. I just don't even see, even if my child was transitioning to a different gender, would this policy and going into the different bathroom really stop the bullying?
Right.
I mean, or maybe there should be a 3rd bathroom. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but writing it into the policy right now without discussing it with everyone in the community is not the answer. The other reason they might be pushing it is because we have a huge North Penn High School renovation. Are they renovating the bathrooms a certain way and want to push this policy through first? I don't know. I didn't even get into that last night. I had my 3 minutes, and I was talking about bullying more than I was about the policy. But the high school renovation stuff is currently being worked on, and I'm sure that also has a part in it. But, I mean, we have to stand up. The Fed money, I think, that we receive. So the board, yes, the federal government did pass this, the Department of Education, but that means if you don't comply, then you lose the federal funds.
Right.
The federal funds that North Penn receives, I'm trying to get information on with a right-to-know request. I did email Mr. Skorocki, the CFO of our district. He's out of the office this week. I believe the federal money is about $2.7 billion. North Penn got an extra $1 million they weren't expecting from the state. And when they divided amongst taxpayers, it equaled out to be $40 per taxpayer, is what the school board said for that extra $1 million. So, I mean, maybe we take a stance and we lose the $2.7 million in funding and take a stance and do something different and write a different policy that's right for all students. I also think the state also adopted this policy now, and the state is saying that they will possibly pull their money too.
Yes.
I mean, I know they mentioned last night that they would open up for litigation if they don't adopt this policy from other people. But, I mean, maybe it's time to take a stance and we wait on the policy and delay it and make sure we get everybody's input.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that the problem here is that families who have been bullied and their daughter feels intimidated by being in a bathroom with a boy, the problem is the victim is the one that's being victim shamed. The victim is, I think, and the victim's families are the ones that are silent because they have been bullied. That's my take from what I personally have heard, and I hear an earful, and I believe these people. I think that at some point it's absurd that a girl who's a biologically born girl would have to be inconvenienced to go to a different bathroom. And that's the real issue here, that she has to go to a different bathroom. So by that account, like she did something wrong. I think that's... And
then she will get bullied, and then she will get picked on of why you're using that bathroom. It's not right. I mean, it's not right for our biological girls that just want to feel comfortable using a restroom or getting changed in a locker room. I know our schools, they don't really shower much at all anymore like back in the day they used to, but they still have to get changed for gym class. They still have to get changed for sports. I mean, they're still taking off their clothes, and I mean, I also don't know. There's two policies. One's for staff and one's for students. I didn't have a full time to review the staff policy, but again, they have to explain this. Does this mean that any staff member is allowed then to walk into the girls' locker room if they express as a different identity? I know we have a student teacher at one of our middle schools who is expressing as a different gender right now. I mean, are they allowed to walk in to the locker room at the school or at a schooling event?
Yeah, and those policies in a lot of the private, especially grade and middle schools, and it really protects everybody. It protects, the staff as well. that they separate those out and say no. And I can tell you, in many schools, the policy is kids' bathrooms are for the kids. The grown-ups go over here. It protects everybody. And
Right.
so that's an important policy. And you bring up great points. These are legit points. I hope that we can, keep updated on this. I'm sorry that the school year is something that, you cherish. And it's just so wrong that and it's politics being infused into this as well and fueling it. I'm sorry. It just, that stinks.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for bringing this on. They did implement a new cell phone policy. And in the middle school, I do think that's been going well. There's less cell phones. I like that they're not locked away in bags. They just have to be in their own backpack out of sight. And hopefully that will eliminate some of the pictures and videos and stuff like that that's being taken in these bathrooms as well that was happening last year. So, I appreciate you having me on. And if anybody wants more information, they can follow North Penn United on Facebook. We do have a website, northpennunited.com as well.
Perfect. Well, Shannon, thanks a million. I hope you have a blessed weekend. Until next time.
You too, Dawn.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So we'll keep you updated on this. This is just the beginning. And like I say, we have all these lawsuits, and that's just it. There's a lot of litigation here, and we're just touching upon this. You remember that when former President Trump had called into Kale & Company here, and Nick Kale and I had interviewed him at that time, this was the question that I posed to Trump at that time. And so Trump had said that he would in fact, on day one with his executive order, he would reverse this kind of situation. It's the problem with it. It's wreaking havoc on a federal level. And so it's more important that local municipalities can do what's best in their local community to figure all of this out and accommodate all of the students properly. And in no way should anybody be discriminated against. 855-839-1210. Quick break. Be right back.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon 7 to 10 p.m. starting Monday, October 7th.
Honestly, I do mean this. What an incredible honor to join this lineup because, the thing you guys do that matters to me, you guys know your listeners. You hang out with them, you meet them, you do events. That to me is amazing. That's why I got into radio. Is you want to be a part of the community. I'm always on tour doing live events. I want to be part of the community, which is a fancy way of me saying I got to get out of New York a lot because I owe a lot of people money. But the point is,
Jimmy Fallon, weeknights 7 to 10 p.m. starting October 7th on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
At Tri-County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, get wholesale club pricing for everyone. Choose from the 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4xE or choose the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE and you can save up to $15,500 off MSRP. Tri-County CDJR is easy to find off the Limerick exit of 422. Go to TriCountyCDJR.com to see our great inventory. And don't forget, when you buy from Tri-County, you get Tri-County for life.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-8517. 800-224-8517. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, he wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, LegacyBox also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or Grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
It is a warm and pleasant finish to the summer season as fall officially begins on Sunday. A mix of sun and clouds today with a high temperature well above average at 83. Tonight, partly cloudy, comfortable, low 64 for the city, cooler in the suburbs. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 80.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415 or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James B. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Just 2 years ago, Bob Casey told us his vote for a $1 trillion spending spree would miraculously reduce inflation. Casey promised his vote
will reduce inflation.
Have you been to a grocery store lately? Did Casey reduce anything except his credibility? In fact, it was Bob Casey's vote for reckless spending that caused caused this inflation in the first place. Prices went up, and now you're paying more for almost everything. Casey admits he failed. Prices have skyrocketed. Just listen to Casey.
You have boneless chicken going up 38% and paper products like toilet paper going up 35%.
Groceries cost more. Rent and housing cost more. Pennsylvania families are struggling. Casey promised to fix this mess. Instead, he made it worse. Bob Casey failed. We need a change to get back on track. It's time to change Washington. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
The Dawn Stensland Show. Dawn Stensland live and local on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Some of the headlines today, how these swing state polls are showing a tightening race between Harris and Trump post-presidential debate. That's one of the headlines. We also have news developing of a word of an arrest. This is an Alaska man arrested and charged after police say he sent many graphic and violent, threatening messages through a Supreme Court communications portal, which threatened to injure and murder 6 Supreme Court justices. So this is according to court records within the Justice Department with DOJ. Some of those using very ugly words, using the N-word in the threats and words threatening to lynch. It was just horrible. And so this is a 76-year-old man. He's identified as Panos Anastasiou, and the grand jury handed up this 22-count indictment. I'm rather surprised this is not making bigger news, but he's saying that they deserve to be assassinated, and it's just a horrible situation. But they have now had him. Obviously, they have him in custody, and he's facing very serious charges as he's making these alleged threats, I should say. 6 justices in total. So we'll get your thoughts on this. We have some humorous news, and Hillary Clinton will thank Mrs. Clinton, the former Secretary Clinton, will thank her for that humor. We'll get to that in a moment. But your thoughts, 855-839-1210, the number to call. Ed in Delran, it's Friday. He's got a rhyme for us, no doubt.
What a beautiful, blessed day, because Dawn Stensland always knows the right thing to say.
Well,
I got to make you laugh before we get started. By the way, I got an excellent job after Kamala Harris loses the election, this dimwit. I want her to be a Walmart greeter so she can stand at the front door and everyone, she can laugh and smile. That's a perfect job for her.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Ed, I appreciate your call. Thank you.
You know it.
You have a great Friday for sure. You know, your reaction just to some of the media coverage sometimes is 855-839-1210. But what I find interesting in some of these local stories is that they're saying 6 justices threatened. Isn't it interesting that in a lot of the media coverage, they're leaving out the name and what appears to be the primary target of this individual who's, you know, by all accounts, maybe he's a nut job. I don't know, but he sent threatening messages using racist language and threatening a lynching. He's talking about a Supreme Court justice and his wife. Clearly, he's referring in this to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and his wife. This is a conservative justice. Isn't it interesting that they say 6 of the justices, they're not pointing out that these are conservative justices. They focus on, oh, this individual, and he made these horrible threats, not really naming in a lot of these stories, not naming the justices and kind of burying the story. Doesn't fit the narrative. Obviously, if this was, you know, some kind of a situation that involved a more liberal justice, well, then they would probably put that a little bit higher. That's my prediction here. All right, let's get to Hillary Clinton. You're going to laugh at this one. Oh, what is she talking about? She's on her book tour. She is coming to Philadelphia, by the way, I believe it's October 10th to the Kimmel Center. So race and buy your tickets for about $200 or $146. A big event coming. But here is Hillary Clinton and what she's talking about.
Nobody really knows what happens in a marriage except the 2 people in it. And every marriage I'm aware of has ups and downs, not public, hopefully, for everyone else. And you have to make the decisions that are right for you. And I would never tell anybody else, stay in a marriage, leave a marriage, whatever the easy answer is. And, you know, for me and for us, I think it's fair to say we are so grateful that at this stage of our life, we have our grandchildren. We have our time together. You know, I write about how we start the morning playing spelling bee in bed. And, you know, Bill is like such a great player. He gets to Queen Bee almost immediately, it feels like. We just have a good time. We have a good time sharing this life that we've lived together for now nearly 50 years of marriage. That's what is right for us. And that's really my message.
Okay. So this is Hillary Clinton on her book tour, and her book is called Something Lost, Something Gained. So apparently we can all gain a little, I don't know, knowledge, inspiration, marital inspiration. I don't know. Larry Bear, my husband Larry Menti, and I, we've been married 24 and a half years. We have never started out any day, but especially a Saturday morning, playing spelling bee.
You know what? Play a little bit of spelling bee right now. You know what, Hillary? I want you to spell the word Pinocchio because, baby, you are just lying your head off. I got to be honest with you right now. I'm going to spell something for you, baby. It's called election integrity. Yeah, you know, because here's the thing, you know, I mean, this is crazy, you know, playing spell. What the hell are you talking about, Hillary? I have no idea what you're even talking about. I mean, how are you going to play spelling bee right now when I'm not even there? Who knows where I am? I'm just somewhere. You better believe that.
I don't know. Sean, have you ever heard of playing spelling bee? And is that something that you
I never heard. I mean, I guess that's just like one of those new games that everyone are making. Like, probably it's like a drunk game, you know, like what you do together on a Friday night. That's what she probably was gearing to.
I don't think me and my wife have ever played spelling bee.
No?
It would be like, yeah, I want you to spell a word for me. Wake up and take out the dog, would you?
Take out the garbage.
Wake up and take up the garbage. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. But here she is, something lost, something gained, and she and Bill, you know, and look, I wish anybody, they've obviously stuck together for a very long time. It's just, it just strikes us, and we did, Greg Stocker played that earlier on the cut sheet. I thought it was worth replaying, because to say that you, I don't know, play spelling bee in bed and he gets to queen bee, I don't know, maybe we're thinking in an innocent way.
Spelling bee in bed, baby.
You know what I mean?
What, a little bit of freaky deaky right now. It's all going to just turn out right now. Spelling bee in bed, baby.
I have no idea, but have you ever heard of that spelling bee, queen bee?
Queen bee.
Buzz. I don't know.
Buzz? No.
It's
I get to be the queen bee, baby. Let me tell you. I tell you what.
You get the honey. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Can you do me a favor? I want you to do me a favor, Hillary. I want you to spell cigar.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Whew. Something we don't want to picture. And then somebody brought up this, I think it was Greg or Nick, and they brought up like Hillary's underwear. We're like, really? You're like giving us that image at lunchtime, for crying out loud. But I don't know if you have ever played spelling bee or queen bee or honey bee or whatever the heck it is, Honey Nut Cheerios maybe. We want to hear from you. 855-839-1210. I've never heard of it. I'm just saying. Maybe when Dom Giordano comes up, we got to ask if he and Roe, because he's an educator. He started out as an educator. Maybe as an educator, Dom has some words of wisdom. So I'll have to ask Dom about that coming up. I kind of can't wait for that moment. All right, 855-839-1210. Quick break, and I'll wrap up with some of the news of the day, some developing stories. Be right back.
High school football is back. High school football is back. And so is the Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Join Daryl Dobis, James Bailey, and Matt Dents. Friday nights 10 till midnight for a rundown of all the big high school games in the region and expert analysis. The Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Friday night at 10. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
This weekend, well, today and tomorrow, the last days of summer. It is back to the daily grind in September, but maybe you're going place to place. Maybe you're sitting in car line, back to all of that. Is your vehicle ready to go place to place? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're always going to help make sure that you and your family are safe out on the roads. And the service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers, they not only handle all your regular maintenance needs, but they also diagnose possible issues before they can happen. So maybe you're taking one of the final road trips to the shore, maybe to the Jersey Shore tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful day, whatever that looks like. You want to schedule your service appointment online today. Do this. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com for that dealer nearest you. Tell them Dolan sent you.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows. And you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit NJDiet.com.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United at a special time. This Saturday, September 21st at noon. Find out the latest about important issues affecting you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday at noon on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do it Inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
At some point today, everybody will use a bathroom. But if you're a contractor, there's an excellent reason why right now you could use a lot of bathrooms. It's the Great Bathroom Break at Colonial Marble and Granite, where every vanity you buy comes with a free stone countertop and free sink. Classic, traditional, contemporary, in stock for pickup or ready to ship. Choose a color and style, get a surface and sink, and you're good to go. So get going. Colonial Marble and Granite, the cornerstone of a beautiful home. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details on their vanity special.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
So Philadelphia police searching for that cat killer on Rittner Street. I told you this earlier in Kill and Company News Live. So this guy, if you take a look, they really want to find this person who lured a cat into a trap and then burned the cat alive. Horrible story, but Philadelphia police continuing to put that word out, so we'll keep you updated. And then the other story, a little lighter story, obviously. This is former President Trump, as he is now having higher favorability numbers than music superstar Taylor Swift in the poll results. You know, I'm bigger than Taylor. I'm sure he loves to see this. But even the New York Times, Philadelphia Inquirer reporting that the favorability opinion of Trump, 47%, while only 44% of Taylor Swift. Wow. Trump beats Taylor Swift. He's got to love this one. But in the survey, 34% had unfavorable views of Swift, 51% unfavorable views of Trump. Still, he's going to look at that top number and go, wow, I'm bigger than Taylor. Isn't it funny that she's the measure by which they did a poll, which is kind of, I don't know, a sad commentary, right? As we look at the popularity of former presidents, who's more popular? And that's what I would just say, that's something that the media, if you think about the poll questions, something I always look at, think about that for a minute. That's the poll question they took. Who's more popular, Trump or Taylor Swift? So, this is supposedly a, serious poll. It's a New York Times Inquirer poll. And so they're not saying whose policy, this policy, do you like this policy? Because they never want to talk about policy. They'll do anything, but rather than talk about, who actually could do a better job. and looking at their policy. Now, if you look at some of the polls as far as who believes in the policy Trump via Harris when it comes to the economy, I've talked about those polls. Trump wins hands down. So to me personally, I think that's frivolous, quite frankly. I know it's fun and it's fun to talk about, and you can make fun and say, Shake It Off, one of her song titles. But the truth is that the so-called mainstream media does everything. They do backwards somersaults to talk about anything other than the issues at hand. And these issues matter in all of our lives. When we talk about all the economic numbers, when we talk about inflation, when we talk about what actually causes inflation, which is the policies in place. That's what causes this inflation. So I digress here. But in this one, it is, I'm sure I'm just waiting to see Trump say, look at me. I'm bigger than, we could have fun with that. We should have asked Sean Farish that earlier this morning. I'm sure he got a chuckle out of it for sure. But I hope that they stick to the issues and really go to the issues of the voters. This is a serious upcoming election. So we'll continue for you. Maybe I'm not having enough fun on a Friday. I don't know. But I do hope you have a blessed Friday. If you're heading to any football games this weekend, or maybe your granddaughters or daughters flag football, I know all of those games and practices are in play today and tomorrow. I hope you have a blessed Friday. That's it for me. After 30 hours live this week, want to hand it over to the Dom Show. Dom, I've got to ask you, based on Hillary Clinton selling her book, saying she and Bill are in bed Saturday mornings playing spelling bee. Is that something Roe and you ever do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she misspelled anti-disestablishmentarianism the other day, and I'm going to report on that in a little bit, Now, Roe is phonetically unbelievable. That's what she teaches, the kids that she tutors. So I wouldn't get into that field. Dawn, Oprah yesterday, a lot to unpack, but when she used the appeal at the end, decency, I think of Madeline Dean. Every time they say decency's on their side, what are they looking at? And we're also going to talk with Dinesh D'Souza, who has another film coming out on the 27th.
Look forward to the Dom Show.